So what is the pedagogy involved in doing history with images? It deals with how it changes history itself, our understanding of the past. It also deals with digital scholarship. How do we see things in the digital world, and how does that change the syntax and narrative, how we communicate? It also has to do with reading visuals. And images work in a particular way where they don't respond to time. We often feel the same things when we are confronted with an image now as when it was made in the past. So a very upsetting image, a very disturbing image from the past will still affect us the same way. So how do we learn to look at difficult images from the past? What are some of the differences between text and images as media? Text, for example, is linear. It's usually linear exposition. The author determines that linear exposition, and it's fixed once it's published. And in the case of history books, they're usually what would be considered a secondary source. Images, on the other hand, are nonlinear. They function more in a circular pattern. We're confronted with them, we scan them, and try to understand them. The movement between different images is often reader determined, and images can be arranged in a flexible manner. You can change what they're placed next to, for example. And these images that we're dealing with are primary sources. So there's no author doing research between us and them. So in terms of the narrative, the text is really a hierarchical structure. The author determines what the narrative is, and the reader follows it. On the other hand, the way images work is that they're non-hierarchical, and the reader is asked to explore the narrative, to explore the images and make connections themselves. So in Visualizing Cultures, we decided to integrate all these different modes of experiencing images. We have the essay, and that is a linear exposition by an expert, which mixes about 50% images and text. We have the visual narratives, where we take images thematically and string them together so that we're privileging the images themselves and your immersion in them. And then finally, I always made databases or galleries of the image sets for each new unit that we worked on. And I realized how valuable those were to look at the images completely free from anybody's interpretation.